Okay. I don't have a hook, so just pay attention here. Follow along. Why Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is my favorite video game, and it should be yours as well. I'm going to start by saying the Tony Hawk series doesn't need an introduction. There's no introduction. Anybody watching this has played it already, so I'm going to skip that, and let's get into it. Let's start with the obvious for what makes these games so fun. Alright. Then I'll start on 1 and 2. Okay. What makes these games fun is that they're easy to pick up and they're hard to master. With the controls and everything. That's how these games are most often described, and that should be the case for every video game. But to focus on 1 and 2 for a minute. The controls on this game are without a doubt the most responsive in series history. Okay. It's what makes them best. The controls in this game are second only to the Underground series, because you can walk. But I think limiting the capabilities to that of Pro Skater 4 and not the Underground games actually works to this game's benefit, you know what I mean? Because if you could just jump off your board and hop on the rail to get to the secret tape in Venice Beach, it would be way less fun to actually get there. Like, look at this in Underground. And the same thing with, like, levels like Burnside. Without the spine transfers that were introduced in 4, where would you even be in that level? It'd be really hard, like it is in the first game. Now, where was I? On top of this, the easy to pick up and hard to master sort of idea is used on the scope of the entire game, which completely brings it full circle. So, like, completing the first 2 original tours are very easy. But if you want to 100% the game and get to that level 100, it's a nearly impossible grind. You know, only like 1% of players have ever done it because there's just so much content. Okay. Now to loop my next 2 points together. For the sake of time. These being the art and the creativity. I apologize if I'm going a little bit fast here. You know what I mean? I had already recorded this once, but then my computer died halfway through, but, yeah, I'm trying to make this not sound like I'm reading off of a school essay. I love forced laughs. Okay. The art and the creativity. Okay, so let's start off with the art. It's beautiful. Look at this image of Jeff Rowley skating right here. The art is done incredibly well in this game. It makes every, like, level feel nostalgic, you know what I mean? Like, look at the warehouse here. I'm gonna give you a second. Look at the school. Okay, now look at San Francisco, okay? I could have gotten way better angles for some of these, but, like, it's just so awesome. Look at Venice Beach, okay? Go skate that level while West Coast by Fiddler is playing in the background, because that's a song that's in this game. And it just... the vibes are there. Speaking of which, let's talk about this soundtrack. Okay. The soundtrack was legitimately the first thing to influence my music taste, outside of the music my mom would play in the car. This is what got me into music to begin with, you know? It's like... I'm sorry to pause. I forgot what I was about to say. Yeah, this music... Everyone has their own story with the Tony Hawk games and their music. You know, they have the best soundtracks in gaming history. And that is only expanded upon here. Alright. It's... it's all so good. It affects me still to this day. I was so young when I first heard this that I thought the song Gorilla Radio was about actual gorillas listening to the radio because I didn't know what the word meant. Just look at my Spotify Wrapped from last year, you know what I mean? It's like almost pathetic the way it's affected me to this day. If you couldn't tell, West Coast is my favorite song on there, and I am going to explain why in a little bit later. Okay, now to talk about the creativity. Let me see here. I'm looking in the script. I'm doing this in one take. Okay, next up is creativity involved. While it has less creative options than some other games in the series, and while the Create Skater is a bit more limited, it's enough to get the job done. And I mostly want to talk about the Create a Park here. The Create a Park is probably my favorite in the game. My favorite part of the game. Because of how well it nurtures that creativity that makes most people love skateboarding in the first place. This is easily the best Create a Park in the entire series, and I don't think enough people appreciate that. There's just so much freedom here. You can create any obstacle of any size and shape, of any style or color, and you can really make it all. Some people might say that the environments are limited compared to like the underground games and stuff, but I like each of these. You know, I like Venice Stormy and Chopper Sunrise the most. I love the sunrise on Chopper. I love the storm on Venice. I love overcast clouds. They're just nostalgic to me because that's what the weather is most of the time where I'm from. I love it. And if you want goals and gaps and stuff, forget about that. Just make this thing, okay? It'll show you that sometimes free skate is enough, okay? Just making something where you can get million-point combos every single time. Now, to understand why I love this game so much, and so much more than any other game, I need to tell you my story with this game, okay? It was late 2020, and I was 10 years old. I was looking through a toy catalog with my siblings for some stuff we might want for Christmas. That's when I saw the ad for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. By this point, I already skated, but I didn't know much of anything about the world outside of some, like, Aaron Cairo videos teaching me how to front 180. And, we all know what happened to Aaron Cairo. He's crazy. Okay. Yeah, so wanting to play a video game related to skateboarding, I asked for this for Christmas. In the following weeks, I watched videos like this Direct Comparison by Nick930, iconic. I watched the Before You Buy, because I was hyped for this game to show up. This game taught me so much about skateboarding when I was younger. Genuinely. If it weren't for this game, I would have never known any of these skaters, including Jack Black and the Alien. I wouldn't have known Jack Black. Not the Alien. Okay? I wouldn't have known any of these brands. I would not have known any of these songs or bands, like I mentioned earlier. I wouldn't have known any of these skate spots, like the Brooklyn Banks and Love Park and Carlsbad and Hubba Hideout, R.I.P., all those spots, except for Brooklyn Banks, they're still around. Oh, the trick names. Yeah, I would not have known any of these trick names. Like, that'd be ridiculous. That'd be hardest for me. I wouldn't know a single one of them. And, yeah. This is the first game I ever really grinded as a kid, and for a good reason. This game influenced my life more than probably any other piece of media. And it's very likely that I would not still be skating if it weren't for it. I have a core memory of being in my room during virtual school classes because of COVID in 5th grade. And for the last 20 minutes of class each day, my teacher would read out of a book, which we were supposed to be reading along with, but I did not. And I instead played the Philadelphia level, this time, with that Fiddler song from before playing in the background. Which is probably why I like it so much, because I have that memory. It just connects to it so much. While my teacher yapped over Zoom call, whatever she was talking about. It was some book about, like, kids stealing an American flag or something, I don't know. I remember there was one point where she put us into these little sub-Zoom calls so that we could talk about what was happening in the book. And I accidentally showed my PS4 controller on the screen. So one of the other kids said, "Brody, are you playing video games?" And I said, "No." And on that note, I rest my case. I've never really been good at conclusions for these types of things, especially in school with, like, I made, like, essays and stuff. And ironically, if you think about it, neither were these Tony Hawk games, okay? I mean, Thug 1 either ended with Eric Sparrow raging like a 12-year-old Call of Duty player screaming the N-word in his mic, or were you just knocking his goofy ass out the way God intended? Thug 2 ended with Bam Margera pantsing Nigel Beaverhousing and no doubt being put on multiple sex offender registries, let's be honest. And Thaw ended with, I guess, you pulling the goth baddie or something. I don't know. It's a stupid... I never played that game. So, with all that out of the way, I'm gonna end this video by ending it the same way the first Tony Hawk game did. By telling you to get up off your couch and go skate. Thank you.